we don't want to be preachy because we are not preachers, we are storytellers. Very playful retelling of the Ramayana. And what we do is we take characters from the Ramayana, all the women especially, and we ask the question, what if? Perfect. I went to a liberal arts school, college, and I studied literary and cultural studies with a minor in theatre. And I think that combination of subjects has really kind of manifested in this show because there is a literature element, there is an element of commenting on the literatures that exist in our culture, and there's an element of doing it dramatically and to do it using dramatic tools. It's a reflection on how if we break the boundary between Hindustani classical music and Bharatnatyam by using the tabla for Bharatnatyam footwork, which is typically never done. It's all the tabla is used for Kathak and the mridangam is used for Bharatnatyam. But if we just let go of that, look at what opens up. Not to say that don't hold on to tradition, but to say that
Hello everyone. Today on Copper Pod we have some very interesting guests. These are not architects, but we could say that they are an integral part of the entire architecture education, because when you look at fine arts, performing arts, we look at sculpture and we look at many other art forms, they always form an integral part of architecture education. So we have today with us Anushka Zaveri and Mahi Zaveri. These are two sisters, and they have a performance, a show that talks about sisterhood, that talks about a critical aspect of thought processes through their show. The name of the show is Glitch in the Myth. It is written, produced, directed by Anushka Zaveri, and it is a one woman, I would say, this duo girls performance. Amazing because they have not only performed for the sake of performance, but they have shared a very strong message through this performance. And that is why I felt that this is a show which is very important for the liberal education aspect of architecture. We are going to meet them and understand what are their thought process behind this show and how they have continued their journey. Let's welcome them. So here we are with Anushka and Mahi. Welcome on board. I'm so glad you both are here. And you know what? They were here to give a wonderful performance. And as I said, these are performing artists, and how much performance in arts matters in architecture is what I have just told you about. So they were here for the performance, and we quickly caught them for a discussion with you, because this performance, Anu, you and Mahi, that you have performed is absolutely impeccable. I mean, you were amazing, and not only in the act or in singing that we see, but in the message that you had to convey the younger generation, the way you looked at history, because history is a part of architecture and it has to be looked with different views. Anu, I think you have produced, directed, written, and you are also a performing artist. It's a one-woman show. So just tell us about this.
it began as a one-woman show. It is no longer a one-woman show because it takes many women to make the show happen, including the characters that we sort of elucidate in the show. And I think for me, more than anything else, it was a way to reclaim my my ownership and to claim my ownership over this mythology and over this story or this event, this myth, however people treat it. Because I think that because it's such an important part of our culture and it's almost like our foundation myth, even in literature, the epics are of immense importance. And I think what I wanted to do is kind of brand my name into it, as a writer especially, to say that this is my view and my interpretation. And I think fiction and playwriting is and drama and dramatic writing is a huge tool in kind of making such comments, but also in a very informed, fun, engaging way, which I think is very important. We try our best in the show not to ever preach. We don't want to be preachy, because we are not preachers, we are storytellers. And what we want to do is we want to tell the best story possible in its best version. And I think that is where it began. How can I just tell a good story? Then it ended up being a spin-off of another story that we are very, very familiar with. And it was definitely about, where I come from, what my training is, what are the stories that I've grown up with. And I wanted to kind of bring all of that together and also add a musical element, because that has also been a huge part of my childhood. Her waking up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. and doing her riyaz. And I've had mornings and I've woken up to that sound, and I've been involved in whatever way with her journey as well. So the story, just for context and background, is a very quirky, very playful retelling of the Ramayana. And what we do is we take characters from the Ramayana, all the women especially, and we ask the question, what if?
Perfect. I would like to interrupt you here, because this is where I want to connect to the audience, that education also speaks of not teaching, but generating a curiosity so that the students question more, right? So there should be some sort of a knowledge that passes where the students are curious and want to question more, or they feel that, that passion to read more. Like, was it like this? Was it this way? Let me understand it deep. Let me understand the different views that people have been speaking of, or what are written, And I suppose this is exactly what your show is doing. So wonderfully woven around a thought process of sisterhood and all these important women who have been put up in a frame, their frame of good or bad or whatever it is. But eventually, as a woman, when it is a common background that every woman would relate to, the position in which she is and the way she would like to depict herself or demand for her what she wants, for her wish, And it's amazing. I mean, let me tell you here, she has done her graduation and masters into all these history and performing arts specialized courses. Tell me something about your education, because with you, both of you, who have chosen a passion which is into performing arts and classical music, was it difficult for you to decide your path as a career?
We have been very, very lucky, I'd say, to have parents who have always recognized even the smallest things. Like if I did something small very well when I was younger, they'd find a way to like put me in a class for that particular thing. So a lot of the credit for our education and the way that it has progressed and our training in our respective disciplines goes to them. Having said that, I went to a liberal arts school, college, and I studied literary and cultural studies with a minor in theatre. And I think that combination of subjects has really kind of manifested in this show, because there is a literature element, there is an element of commenting on the literatures that exist in our culture, and there's an element of doing it dramatically and to do it using dramatic tools. And I'm also a Bharatnatyam dancer. I've been training in Bharatnatyam for almost 10-15 years now. And using that as a further layer, further language to tell this story, and to also use traditions and art forms that are themselves so rigid and codified, to then detangle a mythology, a myth that is so rigid and codified. It kind of creates a conversation about the tension between, the friction between various elements of the show. Because in Bharatnatyam, just to give you an example, if it's this, it has to be this. You cannot do this. You cannot do this. You have to do this. And that's how precise the art form is, and that's how technique oriented it is. But to take that knowledge and to kind of mix it with something much more playful, much more vibrant and alive, and to introduce fluidity with that sensibility is very, very exciting. And I think that interdisciplinary way of thinking came to me from my education and my training in the performing arts. And I went on to do my master's in English literature. I train do workshops in the theatre quite often. So my training is, I don't have any formal training in theatre, but I truly do believe in this way of thinking that everything is connected to everything else, and that there is no one way of looking at anything. It's always a 360-degree approach, and that instead of viewing the arts and academics and social sciences and the sciences in silos
as a separate compartmentalized thing, it should
if we break it open and allow there to be conversation, is when you really come up with ideas that that are original, yes, but also say something back to those fields. So I would like to believe that our play is also, it reflects on itself quite often, because we refer back to the Ramayana, we refer back to stories, how certain things are narrated in the story and how we are doing it. We obviously have a lot of music and dance happening. So it's a reflection on how, if we break the boundary between Hindustani classical music and Bharatnatyam by using the tabla for Bharatnatyam footwork, which is typically never done. It's all, the tabla is used for Kathak and the mridangam is used for Bharatnatyam. But if we just let go of that, look at what opens up. Not to say that don't hold on to tradition, but to say that can tradition push you forward instead of
evolve in just being there and doing that, but rather, something.
So my professors and my mentors, God bless them, they've been huge catalysts in this kind of, and I'm a long way from, really using this approach. I try every day to be interdisciplinary about things. But I really enjoy working across art forms, across disciplines. Tomorrow somebody tells me to do a mathematical, dramatic mathematical intervention in the finding of Egyptian tombs. I will do it because I love that kind of work that has seen me kind of just go through barriers as if they don't exist.
Yeah, this is what I was so impressed with, because you are combining all forms of art, you're combining your passion, you're combining what you love into this educative thought process, and you're bringing it out, which would be loved by everybody. So irrespective of I like this subject or I don't like this subject, doesn't matter. It is something which a cumulative effort is coming out, and still everybody is learning, questioning, curious enough. Like, amazing.
And I also sort of would like to, interrupt her here, that as she said, we want to try and bring all forms of art together. So I'm a singer, I'm a vocalist primarily.
Right.
But, I also tried to incorporate the tabla and the kartals and my vocals versus, even the kind of padans that I have learned of tabla, like reciting the pieces, the tukras, and how seamlessly we've tried to merge it, with her dance and her dialogues and the story in general.
Right. So audience, this beautiful woman over here, this beautiful girl is a very young artist.
We are both young only.
Shut up. She's younger to you. Okay. So she is the youngest, please. So she, अभी ये जो उसने शुरू की ना बात बोलना इतने मीठी आवाज़ में, उसकी आवाज़ बहुत मीठी है. She has a wonderful voice and she has built it up through immense riyaz, immense patience. My God. I mean, sometimes
God's and Guru's grace.
of course, you have this gratitude, and that is why you're here where you are right now. But all that you said, right now, I think it began where, at what age you started
I
practicing?
think I started singing when I was as young as 4, at the age of 4. My mom spotted some sort of spark in me, and one thing gradually led to another. And I used to learn light music first, Bollywood film music, and then I switched to classical.
And how?
And I've been focusing on learning Hindustani classical music since the past 8 years now from my Guruji. And I also learned a bit of tabla, and I've done my Sangeet Visharad from Gandharva Mahavidyalaya, and I'm pursuing a BA in music right now
Wow.
in a music college in Pune.
Music college in Pune. Oh my
And
God.
I'm performing Glitch with Anushka.
Yes, and she is with Anushka for this performance, and they are an amazing duo. I mean, whom to give the credit is like, there's a jugalbandi between both of them. So when her voice comes, we are all mesmerized, and when she performs, we are mesmerized. So I must say, you should see this to believe what I'm saying right now. Mahi, I would like to know that this is something which has tested your patience too much, I'm sure, because when it goes to all this, I mean, you are a very matured girl, and you are
I would like to give the credit to my parents.
of course, but somewhere hats off to the way she takes it ahead, the love that you have for music, and now when you're combining it with Anu to see a different, what do we call, a different literary kid. A mix of drama and music, tabla, whatever changes you have tried to bring in, you have merged it in this show.
I think
Right.
I've always had immense respect for her art, and apart from she being my blood sister, she is also an individual artist. And the way she has seen my process, my learning journey, I've also been a witness to hers. So I have seen her grow, and as a sister, yes, but professionally also, I have a lot of respect for the kind of work she has done. So I always try to keep that.
This is brand new information for me. I had no idea.
So thank you very much. Wow.
Yeah, and we may have occasional personal quarrels because we are
sisters. We should have the quarrels.
we are sisters who are also sharing a working relationship. So, but I try my best to keep those things, and I always try to give her the best that I can in the play. And because my thought, when I said yes that I want to do this, is originally that I'm her sister and I should support her in all her endeavors, and second, that this piece of art is a masterpiece, and I personally really resonated with
The elder sister expression, है ना, तुम मत देख जरा.
ये मैं घर पे नहीं बोलने वाली हूँ, ये सब सिर्फ कैमरे के लिए.
हाँ, तो better देखो, तुम्हें ये बाद में नहीं सुनने मिलेगा. These are the real.
The thing is, when you call something a masterpiece, there is so much more to do in life, and the journey is very long.
She will realize it when she will be where you are right now. But
It's a really high compliment.
I think I have seen the play at its rawest version, and now I am the one who is seeing it at such a, I wouldn't say precipice, but at somewhere better than what it was. Like, I've seen the play evolve from scratch, and in the process I've seen her also evolve from scratch.
I can really relate to you, because she is, very humble, and she knows that, no, I have just begun, I have to reach here. But for you, see, she is also giving you a different perspective.
And both of us are witnesses to each other's learning curve, and the play has really brought both of us together in such a way that maybe if this play wasn't, we wouldn't have been the kind of the bonding we share right now.
Yes. And somewhere, even my students, when they will be looking at this play, they will look at it with the same sort of, though you both will say, "Arey, isme to kuch nahi hai, we are just beginning." So, wonderful. Then, is there anything that you would like to say to this younger generation?
We are the younger generation.
So, your experience that you have to share, because there will be a lot, but somewhere when it comes to your education, somewhere what decisions you have taken to independently begin something on your own, and the startups fad that is all now, So, what are your experiences which you would like them to think, work around and move? Because when we are talking, it is very different. So when these youngsters speak to youngsters, it will definitely make a difference. What do you think?
Read everything. Read all the books you can, and read all the articles you can. And if you are in a doctor's office, read the brochure. If you are in a, I don't know, shoot somewhere, read what's written on the, read the wordings, read everything, because it is the quietest and safest way to add new ideas to your brain. It does not harm your eyes. It does not, if you're watching Netflix all day, it's not great for your body. And reading is a really soothing activity. So I think that for me, a lot of ideas come from books and come from reading. So, perhaps this is one way of doing things. And I think I can only talk about my experience. I got really tired of sitting around and waiting for people to give me work. I refused to prove to them that I was worthy of their hire, or worthy of being hired. So for me, it was really about creating opportunities on my own, for myself, for my work, for my voice, and for my skills. So if there's ever a point in your early career, late career is, easier to manage, but ever a point in your early career when you're just not getting stuff, your rejection is the more prominent emotion in your life than anything else. Remember that you are capable of making opportunities happen by yourself, and believe in your skills and in your talent enough to start from scratch and to build something new. Don't wait around for people to give you work. You might end up waiting for a long time, because those things take time to happen. And when you create something of your own, you get the chance to make it your calling card. And what has been really wonderful for me is that I got so much more work after performing Glitch in the Myth for the first time. Work that typically I would need to audition for and go through multiple rounds of auditioning for. Work that was just sort of, okay, we've seen what you're capable of, and this is what we want you to do.
Yes.
And I think that kind of, don't be afraid to take the unconventional path in life, especially if you have the background and the resources to do that. I understand that it's not that way for everybody. Not everybody has the luxury of being home and creating a play in their dining room, or whatever, doing that kind of work themselves. But if you do have a little bit of luxury, don't be afraid to take the unconventional path and defy, disbelieve, disobey often. Think about it yourself, make your own mind up. Don't get carried away with somebody else's opinions. But this is a lesson I learned quite late, which is to disobey often. And I'm constantly doing that, and it leads me to new destinations.
Of course. Amazing. Wonderful.
What I would like to add here is that any art students watching, you needn't necessarily...
Any artists watching.
Yeah, any artists watching, you needn't necessarily niche down, like if you're just singing or you're just singing. Like I tried my best to, gain, learn something about Kathak, learn something about Bharatnatyam, learn something about drawing or painting or any of the arts in general, or for that matter, instruments or tabla. I would like to, share the message that you overall develop your, maybe musicality or your sense of the arts in general. आपको सारी चीज़ें थोड़ा पता होना चाहिए. Not just कि मैं गाना कर रही हूँ तो मैं गाना ही करूँगी. This is what helped me, also play tabla or also, interact with other musical avenues. So what I would like to share is,
In the process of becoming a specialist, don't forget to also be a generalist.
yeah, exactly. Very well said. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You should.
And explore the performing arts.
In general.
The performing arts are a very rich, very beautiful, very...
Because if you're a singer, then you would be called a singer. If you're a, painter, you would be called a painter. But an artist is somebody who has, a combination of everything.
So not necessarily to be a master when that saying is there, master, jack of all, but master of none. It is a half verse. It is actually, you have to be a jack, an understanding of...
Basically to see the arts as a whole.
Exactly. And especially with such multidisciplinary background, which is not in a service industry. We are not looking at one skill that we are developing, but there is one, art form which requires so many skills together to come to its right position. Wow, my God, girl. You are amazing. I'm sure you have given a wonderful thought process to all these youngsters. They would love to listen to you. I mean, you youngsters, you are with them, okay? You are not the
No, I just, because I say disbelieve and disobey often, I hate being talked down to. Like, if someone asks a question to an older person saying, what advice do you have to give to young people? I really just despise that way of thinking, because I'm just like, look, we have our experiences and you have yours, and we don't have to compete for who has the better understanding. You have your version and I have mine, and you probably don't know what it's like to be 25 years old in 2024 in India, in Bombay. So everyone has their experience, and which is I always scoff a little bit when I end up being the person who has to advise. So I'm like, what are you doing? You hate this.
Yeah. So it is not advice. It is just like, what we say.
I know that.
We're just on the sharing mutual...
Yes.
And go to the theatre often.
Yeah.
Watch plays.
Yeah.
Encourage artists. Very important for society. Even as architects, it's your job to build infrastructure and spaces for the performing arts to flourish. As architects, it's your job to create safe spaces for women to perform. And I don't mean to say it's your job. Like, I'm not bossing over you. I'm just saying that you can think about these things. Our country really needs a diverse and robust arts infrastructure. The spaces that we have are few and far. And it's always a struggle to kind of get into them. So create more opportunities, I'd say, for the arts to flourish. It's a huge market. It might just be very lucrative. So, yeah.
Very well said. Very well.
Thank you so much for having us on this podcast.
No, it was wonderful to have you over here, because it was for so long that I wanted, to come. The minute I saw your play, Anu, I felt that no, it should be brought into education to understand how media works. And this important aspect of media, which everyone loves, is a very interesting journey, to reach someone's soul. And what you are doing is the right way of taking it ahead. There is a lot of wrong things and wrong notions that go around, which also is media takes the backlash. But if such youngsters who come up with these ideas, I think media will be a boon, and performing arts would be something which every education system should hold, so that it will be loved by everyone to be taken ahead. Thank you once again.
Thank you.